Welcome back to Condo Living. Patrick Roy here. Remember we left series number 19 and we said we were going to be going down to the mechanical pool room. And we were using the skimmers and we were complaining that it takes quite a long time. Well, you'll find in this video that we've actually may have found something that will be of interest to you. And also we talked about our sensor well and the difficulty we were having. We may have come up with a solution to that as well. And we've got another sensor coming in, so we'll see how that's going to work out. But so now let's just head downstairs and we're going to be going into that mechanical room and checking things out down there. Okay, we're coming into the plunge pool mechanical room and things are about 100% better than what they were when we first started out here. We started out with the mechanical room having muriatic acid and chlorine in the plunge pool mechanical room, and they were not vented outside. Muriatic acid and chlorine certainly don't fit well together, and you'll see all the rust we have on everything down here from the muriatic acid. Rather than tell you about muriatic acid and chlorine, it would be better just to Google it and let you look at what it has to say there as well. It's something that we want to keep separate. We have done a lot of work to clean it up, but there will be even a couple of years, probably, we still will be doing things that's been affected by the two of those being put together. But we've come a long way. This has destroyed a lot of the electrical and the gauges and stuff like that. The brass fittings over time would just crumble and break down. Most of the metal just rusted. We will have to do some work on the piping as well as the doors and the door casings, as they all were rusted from the muriatic acid. So that's in our plan. We still have a lot of work to do, even though we got the vat of muriatic acid and the liquid chlorine out of here. I want to thank the council for not just having building managers doing administrative roles, but are actually actively involved in the maintenance and the safety of our mechanical systems. This hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid, uses either name, is gone and will never be back. So we're safe and we'll get everything fixed back up. There's still a lot of damage to have repaired. The other issue is when we do get a leak, drains are in the high part of the floor. So we're going to have to do some grinding and fixing of the floor. So when we do get a leak, no matter how small it is, that the water will go down the drain and not out the door and over into the storage locker and do damage there. You've probably noticed that you'll see green tape with writing on it. This is just temporary masking tape where we actually put writing of what the pipe is, where it's going, and what's in that pipe, so it doesn't take us so long. We will be putting original professional labels that will meet code. We're just sort of trying to actually find the most economical way of getting the labels printed and to put up there that will be permanent. They're quite expensive to do that, so we're looking for a cheaper way of doing it. Got any ideas? Your certainly information be welcome. Now that we got the muriatic acid and the chlorine in liquid form out of here, and we just have that one puck feeder in the sand filter, our chemicals in our pool is dead on. We're really quite happy with how it's working now. We've got the room under control now, being vented, and also too got the muriatic acid out of there. It's just a matter of restoring the room. Really, we're well on our way. A lot of the electrical switches and plugs and other things that are in our metal, housed in a metal of any type, have to be replaced, and most of them are. You see one there that's not, it's still rusty. Be doing some work there to continue to restore this, and probably the automatic chemical feeders, they're no longer in use, so we'll talk to the Strata Council about it, getting them removed. It may look like we would be pretty discouraged with all the brackets and all the different things we've got to restore, but actually we're very happy and we're very pleased because to what it was, it's come a long ways, and we're going to have a real nice plunge pool mechanical room when we're done. The building manager and some of the service providers is also giving them some help. And so we are getting it cleaned up, and it's nice to see the mechanical rooms getting cleaner all the time and more reliable. We already see the costs of the repairs of the mechanical rooms going down, and it's making our budgets look better. That's good to know. We still have quite a bit of work to do here, but we can see the end coming, and that's encouraging. Remember, in series number 19, we had to actually use the skimmers to do some vacuuming to clean our pool. Well, things are improving. Before, we had to take and block off a bunch of the skimmers so we could use one skimmer to try to get pick up and vacuum down below. It worked, but it was a long process and it wasn't that effective. So our building manager has gone out now and he's bought us a little vacuum, and it works great. It's going to save us a lot of time, and basically you can just put this in the area you want to vacuum and just take and...
Nope, cut the top, yep.
Oh, there we go. I got her. Yep. Takes me a while, but I figured it out. Yep. And you can clean that right out, and it doesn't take near as long as what we did before.
And anyone can do it.
Anybody can do
user can use it.
So if you see something that you don't like, you can see something, lots of times we'll build up a little bit in the corners. Yep. Then just grab this, and I tell you what, pump this a few times, cleans it right out. Bob's your uncle. Everything is great. Our building manager is going to show us how that he's going to put this assembly on top of the sand filter. It's got a gauge there that'll give us the pressure so we know when to do the backflow. Also too, it's got a little tap there to allow air in so we can drain the water out to do the flush. So we'll just watch how he goes about putting this assembly on here.
Sure. This is our new air pressure gauge assembly for the sand filter. I've never done this before, so let's just use logic and common sense. So the first thing we're going to do is shut the pump off.
Super.
Here, Patrick. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to isolate the sand filter.
You see Holger shut off the valve before and after the sand filter.
The third thing we're going to do is release any pressure in there from the sand filter.
Now the building manager is able to take the assembly off the top with the gauge in it. It's like a pressure vessel. But Holger depressurized it. Now he's safe to take the lid assembly off.
As you can see, it's broken. Our gauge is broken and we've got seepage there. So we're replacing the entire air gauge assembly.
Maybe what you can do, Holger, too, is tell them what you use the gauge for.
I use the gauge to tell me when pressure builds up in the sand filter, and when it builds up, I then do the back flush.
Okay.
And that happens about every week to 10 days when particles or particulates or clothing items like cotton and whatever get stuck in the filter. Oil as well in the summertime, you know, suntan lotion, all that stuff gets stuck in there, and I back flush it, rinse it, and then it's good again and the pressure drops.
So what is the magic pressure that you're watching for to know when you do it?
I'm watching for anything over 25 pounds per square inch of air pressure. That's when I know it's time to back wash it, and then it'll go down to about 10 pounds and slowly work its way back up over the course, depending on the usage of the pool of the hot tub.
So we could probably shut her down now.
I believe we can.
That brain.
Yeah.
So okay, Holger is now taken off the top of the sand filter where we do our pressure reading, and also for us to go in if we got to do any repairs inside the sand filter, and that's where we put the sand in.
Put this assembly into the new lid and thread it back on so that it's tight, and now it'll go on top of here.
Each maintenance feature that our building manager done gives him more confidence, and also too, he's able to do a lot more work in our high-rise. As a heavy-duty mechanic who worked for the provincial government, when they brought in new heavy equipment, felt insecure for the first while until I got to do a lot of work on it. After a year or two, you felt very confident and you were not worried about anything. Nothing can replace the experience you get from doing this. The next time that Holger has to do this, he will be very confident. He's already done it.
I'll open everything up. And falabogi.
So the pump is put back on?
Yeah, about 18 pounds PSI, so it's already back flushed because of what we did. When we repaired this, it already back flushed. So we're at 18 PSI, and when it reaches 30 or so, we know that it's time to do another back flush. That'll be in about 10 days or so. Once a week is good practice, but it just really depends on the pressure that's built up there.
So next time we'll do the complete deal. That's the old one that comes out.
The old one, where the pressure's stuck, and our new one. To get all the water out, you've got to open the back valve so that we get air in there, and you can hear it running all out. That'll drain the water from the sand filter.
We get different kinds of sand and debris that gets into the pool, so we got to clean it out. The value of applied knowledge and the experience that your building manager will get will be priceless. You will save a lot of money and downtime. Preventative maintenance is very valuable. Each time you repair something, you will improve the system so it will last much longer than it did in the beginning. I have spent almost all my life in the mechanical field, and I would say preventative maintenance has been way better than the depreciation reports, which I call post-mortem.
Now I've turned on the domestic water to refill our pool for a few minutes, just to cover what's drained from the sand filter.
Roughly how long does that take
It's 5 minutes per about 3 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a year's time, we'll be doing another coverage of the plunge pool, and I guarantee you, it'll even look a lot better, and we will have a lot less issues. Okay, this here is the power that will go for turning the glycol on when it's required. So it is over there, and when the temperature is such that we need some heat on the driveway, in case somebody comes down there and plows into the door, we know that it's going to be on when the temperature is right. So that will come on automatically over there. So it's not a matter of what we're doing in here. This is programmed that way. So even if you're coming down in the middle of the winter and it happens to have lots of snow and it's cold weather, we've got a big mirror there that we bought from our bottle funds, so you can look in the mirror and see what that's like. As a mechanic foreman in a very large shop, we had various different injuries and accidents, so we had a safety and first aid book, and most all the accidents, about 90%, was due to undue care and attention. Yet in the safety meetings, about 90% wanted to talk about safety devices rather than their own ability to think what they're doing. You can have de-icer on the highway, but that doesn't mean that all the time it's going to be that way. So be careful when you're coming down there in the middle of the winter, and make sure you look at what's there and slow down so you can stop on that, on the ramp. Okay, this here, much like I've been saying before, you'll notice this is controlled by the temperature, and it says it's off now, and the reasons it's off because it's not cold outside, but it will come back on and keep the ramps from freezing up and de-ice on them most of the time. But that doesn't mean that it's going to work all of the time in real cold and heavy snow. You also have to watch that. So this is automatic. That's how that works. And if you see something there, don't think it's because of the building manager hasn't got it set right. It is preset, and it is you that have to keep an eye on the ramp when you're coming down. Next time it could be a car coming up or a bike.
I just want to mention that once or twice a year, once it's raining outside and the rain turns to heavy snow, then the ice melter can't catch up because the snow piles up, and if it's quitting time, people drive on top of the snow, compact it, and it gets icy, and it takes longer for the ramp to melt.
Attention and good judgment is the safest thing you can have for the ramp. We've covered the sand filters, but I forgot to tell you about the skimmer motor and the baskets to clean out there. These are the skimmer pumps, and I should have mentioned it before, but another couple baskets to make sure to keep clean. We'll get various different types of fabric, from towels and swimming suits and trunks and different debris like that come here. so this also has to be cleaned from time to time. Well, we've pretty well covered the pool room now, and I want to say that we don't have the biggest high-rise or the most amenities, but we got a wonderful community and a great building, and we're proud of it, and also we're happy with our developer that's provided it for us. I want you to look forward to the next series. It's going to be on the boiler, the glycol system, and so that will be interesting as well. So we're going to see you in 21. Thanks for coming along with us on Series 20. We'll meet you in Series 21 in the boiler room.